Hello everyone and welcome to Leanne's Crafty Cupboard. I'm Leanne, and last week I started stitching a koi pond, and I'm going to do a water lily, and I left you in suspense but after just selecting the button, so let's get into it. Let's make the lily pad. I'm just cutting out the shape freehand from felt. I love these scissors. I find they give me so much control. They're Fiskars, and yeah, my hands like them a lot. The bird approves too. So this is quite light. Obviously I intend to put some darker colour over it with my paints, Kuretake Gansai Tambi paints. Last time I used those paints, actually someone asked me, what paints are you using? But I'm also wondering perhaps if that person meant the little rose-shaped palette that I have here. So this is just a ceramic palette that you can mix paints in, which I think I just purchased the palette on Amazon or somewhere like that. So looking at lily pads, there's lighter sections where they're sort of more raised, and then the little shallow parts are darker, and so that's what I'm just trying to replicate here with paint, to put in those darker pieces. And I intend to backstitch this down onto the piece with some silk thread, sort of to indicate those vein lines in the leaf. I've just realised my hand's in the way, and also that the paint sitting on top, it's not really going in, so perhaps this scrap that I have is an acrylic based felt and not a wool felt. See, the paint, it's just sat on top, so I might just try with my Inktense pencils instead, see if I get a better result. Yep, that's working better, but it's not showing up green. Pick a different colour, I think. So this one I rejected at first because I thought it was a bit too fluoro, a bit too bright, but on the duller tones of the felt, it's coming out quite well. So I might use a mix of both these pencils. So I've let that dry, and I'm just backstitching. I've marked out the spots where I'd like the veins to go with my little applique pins. Even these little ones are catching, okay. You're gone, little pin. I'm sure I can remember where it was when I get around there. Oh. It's a challenge. Can you see the other tail, I've done some back stitch on the start of the tail, just to sort of sit it to the piece and to give it its lines. I'm not sure what you call them on a fish tail, the vein lines. I'm just using ordinary sewing machine cotton here to backstitch these lines in. I'm really loving this choice of fabric, that it's sort of shiny and shimmery, and I like the added extra detail of the stitches. So let's give this little koi fish his whisks. So this is the main thread, and then to get its curvy shape, I'm going to couch it down. So my main thread's a crochet cotton, and I'm just using a sewing cotton. Oops, we came unthreaded. Note to editing self, hey Leanne, cut out like that 1 minute of me trying to thread this needle. Save the public from viewing something so tedious. Cute. So for ease, I've decided I want to stitch the lotus blossom or the lily flower down on a smaller piece of fabric, and then stitch that down to the koi pond. So this is a little button I've decided to go with, and I think I'm not going to do beads because they're It's too small a piece. So I think I'll just do this button with those 4 little holes in the centre to sort of represent the circular shapes we can see on that thing in the centre of the lily. I've loved working on this piece. I tell you, every morning I've been getting up early just to have a bit more time with it before I head out to work. How exciting is it to have that level of joy when you wake up to start your day? It's like Christmas morning every day. You might have noticed my surface has changed too. I decided to part ways with our very old second-hand veneer table, which had become very rickety, and purchased a sit-down, stand-up desk, an electronic one. You know, you can press a button and it will raise itself in the air or come down lower. And I am thrilled. I can't tell you how happy I am with this purchase and how more functional it is for me. For starters, I've got so much more room to work now because I just had the tiny sort of oval shaped end of the table in the past. So now I can spread out wide. And I thought, oh, this will be good for, you know, when I want to iron and cut out fabrics for quilting, to have it higher, and then I can sit down the rest of the time. But it's even better than that because you can put it to the exact right height that you need. So, for example, now that I'm embroidering, I actually have it a little higher in the air. And look, it's great. It means I'm not hunched over so much. And, you know, sometimes I bring it down as low as it will go depending on what I'm doing. So I have absolutely loved, even though I felt quite sentimental about the old table, I've loved this change so much. It's just been perfect. Goodness, I'm all fingers and thumbs. Yeah. And now I've got myself in quite a tangle. What's going on? Oh, I've passed through the thread. Okay, I'll bring back. The inspiration footage for my koi. I tell you, it's just as well I'm not a surgeon. Okay, so there's one little petal. The inspiration footage for my koi pond comes from Edogawa Commemorative Garden, which is located in the Gosford Regional Gallery. And it's my favourite spot to stop off whenever we're heading up the north coast to stretch those legs. So the garden is a Shuyu style garden, which is sort of, you know, strolling around. It's a tiny space, but just such a restful place to stop. And the bonus for me is that it's attached to the art gallery there, so you always get to see amazing exhibitions. And the cafe food is delicious. It's well worth a visit. I really, really love it. Hey, I'm back. I've been sewing these petals on for about 10 minutes now, and I'm starting to get the hang of it. So I'm finding it easier just to put the petal flat against the backing piece and try and keep the thread up in the air so it's not getting tangled on the existing petals. A more sensible way, I know, would have been to have done the outer petals first and then worked the way towards the centre, but because I was too lazy to draw it out and measure it out properly, I wasn't sure if I was going to have enough petals or how big to go, and so that's why I just decided to work from the centre and work my way around. I have to be honest, I mean, it's a little fiddly, so you do want to just be patient. It take your time and get everything adjusted right. I really like how it's coming together. I could see this style of flower. This would work really well to do something like a gardenia as well, just in a much whiter fabric, I guess, because gardenias really are quite a bright white. And how incredible is the perfume of a gardenia. My nan always had a gardenia bush in her front yard, and so the scent of it reminds me of going to her house. That and the flying geese on the walls and those amazing armchairs. You know, the sort of low, I remember there was sort of, it's like the mid-century style chair. You know, a sort of fabric back and seat, quite simple in design with the simple wooden frame. And I feel like that hers sort of reclined, like that you could push out with your bottom and they'd sort of, you know, become a bit more of a recliner shape. Gosh, what I'd give to have those chairs today. Don't you think furniture used to be so much more comfortable than it is today? Or is it just I'm getting old and everything feels uncomfortable? I'm not sure which. Oh dear. So Christmas is upon us, isn't it? Do you celebrate Christmas? I'd love to hear about your favourite tradition down in my comments below. I've always been a put up my Christmas tree 1st of December, take it down New Year's Day person. And this year's a little different. So we were supposed to be going to Japan earlier this year together as a family, and I had to cancel it because of my sudden necessary surgery. And so we're going now. We're preparing to go at Christmas time, which is really exciting. And I'm a little bit nervous because New Year's is the most important time in Japan. And I'm well aware of the importance of travelling home to see family at that time. And I'm a little concerned that us as tourists are now going to be adding to that congestion on their transport system. But it was the only time that all of us could have time off together. And we're really, really looking forward to having a different sort of Christmas this year. We'll still be together as a family, and we've decided to do no presents, that our presence with one another on this trip is all that we'll need. And we're really excited for it. We've never been together as a whole family before, and I think it'll be an amazing experience. And we're very much looking forward to the cold, because we do not like the heat at all. We are not genetically programmed to cope with heat. And yet here we are in this blisteringly hot country. And the area where we live in particular gets quite very, very hot. So a cold Christmas. Looking forward to it immensely. So I'm not sure what opportunities I'll have there for filming, but if I do find something that I think is relevant to you that you'd be interested in seeing, I'll try and film a little bit for you. But I think I probably won't be able to upload it or anything like that until we get back, a few weeks after we get back or something like that. So I want to thank you all. You've been very patient with me too, because I have started making videos less frequently. I found that the pressure of getting it done each week was starting to take away all the joy for me. And so I've reclaimed my joy. I hope that's okay with everyone. And I'm just filming when I can and uploading when I can. And it's working much better for me again. I've got all the fun and enjoyment back again, rather than feeling the pressure to sort of, put the film clips all together. Plus, the most exciting update with iPhone ever is that now you can pause while you're recording. Brilliant. Thank you, iPhone. It's like, where was this technology for the last however many years? I'm so pleased to have it now. Okay, well, I'll finish stitching this off camera and I'll come back when I'm doing the next part. Wasn't actually filming when I thought I was. I just sewed some scraps of that pink in there and trimmed it, and then sewed through the button to sew it onto the piece. I'm going to put one more lily pad over here. So it's time to add the final flourish, which is the little sort of bubbles. And so I've picked out some beads to try. That one's determined to be on the piece. Something to do for starters. Just adding in the bubbles. I love how the water ripples as I'm working on this project. My favourite part of it's the lily. I really like that. I think I want to do that again. I'm thinking it'd be really, really cute to make a larger version that would be sort of a coaster for my mug. So you put your mug down on the lily pad and next to it's this beautiful water lily. I think that would be very sweet. I'm just invisible stitching my way over to the next spot to put a bead on, because this part here's sitting up a little bit and I just want to secure it down. And so invisible stitch isn't really invisible, in case you've been wondering what is this curious stitch. It's just where you take a larger stitch under the back of the piece and the stitch that you do on top is just very, very tiny. Just a very, very tiny stitch. So it's not as visible as doing an even running stitch where you sort of even both sides. Thank you so much for choosing to spend your time with me today. I hope you've enjoyed the finish of the koi pond. I find it always very, very satisfying to tidy away the items at the end of a project and to sort of sit back and enjoy the piece that has evolved. If you haven't already, I'd love you to subscribe to my channel. And if you enjoyed the video, please click like and consider sharing it with someone. Thanks again, everyone, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.